Am I the asshole for telling my husband that I don't want to be a single mum of 3 kids? Trigger warning in this one for domestic violence, so just putting that one out there. So, my husband, 42 male, and me, 31 female, have been married for 12 years. We have 2 kids, 8 male and 4 female. Ah man, when a 30-year-old marries a 19-year-old, you know that's a good start to the relationship. Our marriage is not great. His mother and sister often give unsolicited advice on my parenting, our marriage, and life in general. It's better in the last few months, since I sit down with my husband multiple times, we talked, and this time he listened, so they backed off. Not completely, but it's better. In the last few weeks, husband started mentioning having a 3rd child, which filled me with dread. I love children, always wanted a big family, but it would be too much. I cook, clean, take care of the kids, and work part-time from home. He doesn't really help with the house, which I'm fine with, nor with the kids, which is a problem. I changed all the diapers, woke up at night, I take care of fevers, doctor's appointments, school, play dates, everything. The mere thought of now going through another pregnancy, taking care of another baby, makes me want to cry. I know I would have to do it all practically alone because my husband provides, and women have been doing it for centuries. I should pull my weight and not be spoiled. It all culminated last night. After another of his, I take great care of you and the kids, and we should have a 3rd monologues, I snapped. I told him that he really doesn't, that the kids barely know him. When he comes home from work, he doesn't pay attention to them except to snap on our daughter when she is too loud. He doesn't know anything about our days because he doesn't ask, and I stopped telling him because he wasn't listening anyway. He's not a great father, nor husband, as he likes to preach, and I have no desire to be a single mum of a 3rd child. 2 are quite enough, thank you. He stared at me dumbfounded, then called me a C-word, delusional, and ungrateful, then stormed out to his mother's house. So, am I the asshole? In the comments, I wouldn't trust him not to sabotage the birth control. Opie, please watch your birth control. I'd get an IUD. Divorce would be better. I would tell my husband that I had 8 kids, the 4 I was raising, and him, because he's just as much work as the kids combined. I know I've kind of ruined it with the trigger warning for domestic violence, so I guess we can't exactly see the future given just what is in the post here, but divorce would be better, yes. I know we don't always just say, oh my god, there's something wrong in the family, Reddit says divorce, but the cringe little monologue of, oh, I provide and women have been doing it for centuries, I should pull my weight and not be spoiled, yada yada yada. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a husband. That just sounds like a mooch that has made you a bang maid. Genuinely, just reading this situation without the trigger warning for domestic violence, that's enough for me to say leave his ass. You're already aware that you're going to be a single mother to 3 kids. Get your alimony, get whatever you need out of that, split amicably, and make him co-parent with you for once. But obviously, since I can see the future here, get out ASAP. Not the asshole. And now, onto the update, 3 days later. Hello to everyone. I wanted to update since a lot of people were worried about me, and a lot has happened. For the ones who don't want to read a long post, things turned ugly, but I am safe and decided to get a divorce since my husband and I couldn't agree on how a marriage should look like. Now for a long update. The morning after I made this post, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law showed up at my house. At this point, there was still no word from my husband, let's call him Ray. It was obvious that they expected me to be alone, as my kids were with my brother-in-law at my sister's house and she was with me. So we all sat down to have a conversation. I know that I was being annoying, but I kept repeating that I don't see the point of that. The conversation should happen between Ray and I. We are grown-ups and are married. I don't see a reason for them to meddle. They took great offense to that. My mother-in-law at one point said that she doesn't understand what happened to me. I'm not the girl that her son married anymore. I said of course I'm not. He married a teenager and I'm now a grown woman. She turned beet red and started screaming at me, to which Em said that she's going to call the police if she doesn't calm down. After a few insults, mostly about how I'm abusing her son and how bad of a mother I am, they left. Ray showed up a few hours later, not to ask about our children or to see how I am, but to berate me on how I treated his mother. Again, I think Em being there changed his plan since he toned it down when she came downstairs. He demanded for her to leave. She refused and said that she's going to go upstairs so that we can have a conversation, but she's not going anywhere until I ask her to, which I didn't. He started with basically saying that I'm a bad wife, that I don't love him since I don't want more kids, and I blamed him for it. I shouldn't be speaking with him like that. He is a great father to our kids, etc. I asked which kids? Kids he hasn't seen in 3 days and didn't ask how or where they are? He then freaked out when I told him they're at brother-in-law and Em's house, calling them both vile names that I don't want to repeat. Our conversation lasted an hour, and nothing productive came out of it. We were going in circles. I was scared because he multiple times started grinding his teeth and putting his hands in fists, but he would calm down after a few seconds. I said if he's not willing to work on our marriage and think that he is completely in the right, then we should get a divorce. He at first said fine, if that's what I want, I should pack my stuff up and leave. So I started packing. He ranted how I'm going to live without him, how he can't wait for me to explain to the kids that they're moving, and similar. I said that the kids are not moving anywhere. They are staying in a house, and which parent stays here is taking care of them. He really couldn't comprehend what I was saying. I'm not turning our kids' lives upside down. Divorce is enough of a change. They are not going anywhere. Then his tune changed. He was willing to hear me out. I swear I thought I was going to pop a blood vessel from rage. I said I don't care anymore. We are getting a divorce. Only questions are about logistics and our kids. To not make this post even longer, this also went in circles. Then he grabbed my shoulders and started shaking me. Em got involved and they started pushing each other. I called the police. We managed to push him through the door and locked it. He left before the police came, we gave statements, and I stayed at the house. I'm fine, but Em has a few scratches. Currently I'm being bombarded with texts from his family, but again, not a peep from him. I am filing for divorce. I don't know why I thought that this could end any differently, but I'm also glad that I tried. For people who found my previous posts, I'm ashamed of how I spoke about Em, but I was envious until I realized that I was projecting my unhappiness with my life onto her. She didn't deserve it. She was and still is an amazing sister and even better person. Thank you all. I got amazing advice and words of encouragement. The internet can also be full of wonderful people, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. In the comments, Grace of the North says, "Be very careful now. He sounds exactly like one of the men who end up harming his wife when she files for a divorce. Do not ever see him alone again. Those are the most dangerous moments. Anything that needs to be discussed can be discussed over the phone. Always have witnesses and protection with you. Secure your devices, make sure that there are no trackers or any cameras around, listening devices, etc. Please look up how to protect yourself online. His reactions are scary and he will feel justified harming you. Beware. Good for you. Set those boundaries, maintain those boundaries. I'm glad your sister was there and was supportive through this. You're going to be fine. Not at first. Sometimes starting over looks like starting from nothing. But you've got a good head on your shoulders and you just lost 250 pounds right to the curb. I love how OP told her in-laws that he married a teenager when he was already 30 and she's now a grown-up woman. Agreed. I did the math and I was just like, ooh, you poor thing. But in that time, she got an amazing backbone, even telling him, ooh, no, I'm leaving, the kids are staying. His brain did a record scratch. I'm a great dad and you're a bad mum, and I'm glad you're leaving. Okay, I'm gonna leave the kids with you then. Good luck. Wait, we can talk about everything. Our marriage needs to be saved. Don't be so unreasonable. What a weenie. Ah, yeah, because a 19-year-old marrying a 30-year-old always goes great. My opinion of that is 30-year-old men only marry teenagers because teen girls are too immature to know when a guy is an immature asshole and child. He's dating teenagers because the actually mature women his own age know better and can see through the bullshit. And what a shock. Now that she's that age, she can see right through his bullshit. Also, just adding here, he's not a good provider at all because why is OP having to work part-time? If he's so good and he's so able to look after everyone, why does OP also have to look after her own finances with a part-time job on top of all of that? The math ain't mathing. Thank God the girl math in this situation also doesn't include a third child to this absolute shit show. I don't know if it is the best thing in the world to leave the kids with him. Like, yeah, it makes sense. It is funny. It is what he deserves. But I don't trust him not to just abuse these kids through neglect. He's not been pulling his weight for 8 years. What makes you think he's going to pull his weight now? He's already an abusive dickhead. He's shown that he doesn't want to look after these kids. I don't think that leaving him with them in the house is a great idea, but I don't really know what other option you do have in this situation. Regardless, thank you for the update, OP. I hope all is well. Our next post is by user Brooklyn NY It's Your Boy, titled, "My best friend was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and I abandoned her. We met when she was 5 and I was 6. We were both from divorced homes, and my dad lived 5 houses down from her mum. I don't remember the details of her family's custody arrangement, but her mum basically had full custody, and I was 50-50 between my parents. When I was at my dad's, we were inseparable. We were polar opposites in personality, but loved all of the same things, and both had huge imaginations. Where I was brash, outgoing, and loud, she was gentle, soft, and quiet. We did literally everything together. I loved her so much. I was 14 when she found out she had cancer, and I couldn't cope. I basically ghosted her. My dad moved away by that point, so I basically got to pretend that it wasn't happening. Out of sight, out of mind, and 18 months later, she died. For 23 years, I've been mired in guilt and shame for my behavior. It was unforgivable, and the grief of losing her is compounded immeasurably by the guilt and shame. I hate myself for what I did, and I feel like I will never be able to heal from it." In the comments, OP confirms they made an appointment with a therapist to talk about it. Bello Top says, "If your positions were reversed and you were the one who died from cancer, and you were able to watch the friend who you love so dearly from some better world, watch her do something terrible as a young, overwhelmed girl, and see the person you love spend her entire life in anguish for her mistake long after you had forgiven her, what would you say to her if you could?" Reasonable Crow says, "There are grown adults who cannot handle someone close to them dealing with cancer, and they handle things even worse than you did. When my mum was diagnosed with cancer, she had friends who wouldn't let her in the house because they were convinced they would somehow catch it from her. You were a child. No 14 or 15-year-old ever truly understands the finality of death. You need a therapist who you can help process the grief of losing your friend and also the grief of not being there for them. This was a terrible situation all the way around." And Mayor Icarus says, "This isn't an accusation, but please don't reach out to her family. What right do you have to make them go back to their trauma like that and ask for forgiveness? Let them be at peace. This is something you should work out on your own or with a therapist if it's really hurting you." And now onto the update 1 day later. After reading a lot of the replies to my previous post, I decided to ask my parents what they remembered about what happened in the time period after finding out my friend had cancer until she passed away. Y'all, my broken little brain rewrote history. To my recollection, I only saw my friend once after finding out she had cancer. That's all I remember. I talked to my mum on the phone, and she said that she remembers multiple visits I had with my friend. She even reminded me of photographs she has of my friend and I from after her diagnosis, and that's not the visit that I remember. Then I texted my dad, and he corroborates the multiple visits and said that I kept in touch with her regularly. He even claimed that there was a last visit at her bedside, which is mind-blowing to me. How is it possible that I don't remember that? I also found out that my mum sang at her funeral. My brain deletes the memory of her even being there at all. I had also forgotten that I went to visit her mum at some point in the years after she had passed away. I don't remember exactly when. I want to say in my mid to late teens. I was 15 when she passed. At that point, her mum had kept her room as it had been when she was alive, and said that if there was anything of hers that was particularly meaningful to me, I could have it. One of our shared loves was stuffed animals, and we had these identical blue elephants. I had kept mine in memory of her, and so when her mum offered, I took my friend's elephant as well. I still have them both. I thought that I abandoned her, but by all accounts, that's not what happened. I don't know what to make of it, this false history that my brain created. My best guess is that by my own standards, I wasn't there enough. The amount of time I spent with her after her diagnosis was not equal or proportionate to how much I loved her and how much she meant to me. So maybe in a way I still did abandon her, just not to the degree that I thought that I did. I don't know. Therapy starts Thursday. Wish me luck, and thanks for reading. In the comments, 99 says, I hate how brains can do this with trauma and painful memories. It's either seared into your psyche forever, or it tries to forget that it ever happened. Exaggerating, of course. I somewhat know, because I definitely don't remember some rather painful things accurately, and others exceedingly well. I'm glad that OP got some sort of closure at least, and discovered that she wasn't as horrible as she thought she was, because I think that would haunt me as well. Good luck to her in therapy. I'm 50, and some years ago I realized I have very few memories of my teen years. Part of me would want to remember things, but then I think, screw it. It took me years to build some sort of balance. I don't need to ruin everything. It's so scary what grief does to you, and how your brain literally deletes memories as a protective mechanism. Poor OP. She was living with so much guilt and shame, afraid to talk about it with anyone, only to find out that her brain has literally forgotten all of the events surrounding that traumatic period of her life. All the best to OP on this journey of healing and recovery. And to be honest, her brain did her a disservice because she has more trauma from this than I think that she would have of the memories of her friend being ill. Yeah, brains are short-term thinkers, really. They will choose a decades-long depth charge over immediate suffering if you don't have help in facing it. It's very much a bittersweet story, and it's unfortunate that it took her corroborating with her parents to realize that she didn't do her best friend dirty. You know, it's so good that she didn't abandon her friend like that, but never really being able to recollect those memories would really hurt. And I wonder if there's any therapy or anything you could do to recover those memories. Are they just gone forever? I don't know, that's kind of sad when you think about it, but thank you for the story, OP. I hope therapy helps you out, and I hope it helps you accept the situation for what it is. Our next post doesn't have an update, but I wanted to read it anyway, and it's by user 2gifted, titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to give my lottery winnings to my family after they excluded me from a family trip? I, 28 female, come from a family of 5. My parents, my 2 siblings, 30 male and 25 female, and me. Growing up, I was always the black sheep. My siblings were the golden children, and while I wasn't outright ignored, I definitely got the short end of the stick. A few months ago, my family planned a big overseas trip. I found out through my sister's Instagram posts, not from them directly. When I asked why I wasn't included, my mum said, "Well, we didn't think you'd want to come, and besides, we're tight on budget." It hurt, but I let it go. Fast forward to a month ago, I bought a lottery ticket on a whim and ended up winning a life-changing amount, over $2 million. I decided to use the money wisely, paid off debts, invested, and set aside some for fun. I didn't tell my family right away because I didn't want them to treat me differently. Well, word got out after I bought a new car, and now they're furious that I didn't offer to share the wealth. My mum said that it was selfish to keep all of that money to myself when they are struggling, which is news to me given the vacation. My sister hinted that I should pay for her student loans, and my brother outright asked me to buy him a house. I calmly explained that I wasn't obligated to just share because we're related, especially given how they've treated me in the past. I mentioned the trip as an example of how I've been excluded. My dad said, "That was different. This is family money." Now they're all calling me an ungrateful brat and saying that I'm ruining the family dynamic. Am I the asshole for standing my ground and not giving them any money? In the comments, Fearless Fennel says, "Not the asshole. This is not family money, it's your money. I'd suggest cutting them off. They'll probably just keep harassing you for money. They are just here to use you." Exactly. Your family sounds like real opportunists. I think cutting them off is really the way to go. It's your money, not theirs. Not the asshole in any way. Agreed. OP already had plenty of reasons to cut them off. Their attitude about OP's money is just the last straw. Yeah, how is her money considered the family's money unless they all chipped in for the lottery ticket? If she's not considered family enough to be included in a family vacation, then they are not close enough to deserve a share of her personal finances. I hate to confirm your fears, but my family was worse than just leaving me out of vacations. I was left out of wills, money borrowed from my college fund, money that I earned on my own was borrowed to help my older brother and never paid back. I had to pay for everything that I needed, but my brother was given everything he wanted by virtue of being older and having the almighty dick. So, yeah. All I did was exist, and it was enough for them to hate me. I hope OP keeps every cent and donates it all to charity before giving them a single effing cent. She should get a lawyer, send cease and desist orders, and cut them all off without a cent. They don't and won't love her, but they sure do love her money. Not to say that OP's ignorant or anything, but is this not the first thing you think is going to happen when you win the lottery? I think that OP should have just been preparing themselves for this eventuality and then been like, "No, I knew you guys would say this. There was not even any grace about it. You didn't even try to win my favor. Absolutely not. You're not getting a cent, and if you keep pushing, I'm gonna cut you off." So no, not the asshole on principle, absolutely. I just don't know why you think you would be, because this is a tale as old as time. But it is what it is. Thank you for the story. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!